we all love him. We all are here tonight to honor him and to say thank you and to induct him into the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
Let's welcome Larry Lucchino.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Please welcome, you're in the middle here, the legendary radio voice of the Boston Red Sox, Joe Castiglio. You get that one.
No, I know you're going to.
I think it's on.
Are we set?
There
Yeah,
we
we
go.
are. I know you guys are going to grill me momentarily, but I'd like to take a minute just to thank John for that extraordinary introduction. Whatever is said about me tonight and our accomplishments of the last 15 years can be said equally well about John Henry, Tom Warner, and our partners. John, Tom, and I have been collaborative ventures in this endeavor, but we've also been friends through it all, and it was really pleasing to hear John say so many lovely things tonight. So thank you, John, very much for that. I would like to say that their contribution to our culture, we're going to talk a lot, I suppose, about achievements tonight, but their contribution to our culture may not be fully understood by everyone. There is a prankishness, a sense of humor, a bizarre sense of humor that the two of them share. And I'll just tell, if I may, very quickly, Tom, two stories. This is in early January of 2002. We had worked ourselves quite hard over the holiday to secure the franchise that we were awarded on December 21st, 2001. And we worked long nights and whatever. So the early January, we go into Fenway for our first day, and I decided to take a nap on the windowsill of my office. And John comes in, unbeknownst to me, takes a picture of it, and then sends it to the entire organization with the following caption: "Your CEO, hard at work." That set the tone. And then a few years later, we were going through the intense 2008 season, which, as you may remember, we got to the seventh game of the ALCS and lost the heartbreaker. But in the latter part of that year, I was called down on the field, and I went down, and I saw John and Tom, and they were there. And actually, I didn't see Tom, I saw John. And during that period, the Wally, the Green Monster, was out there with us, playing around, and Wally started playing catch with me. I think he was about 3 feet away, and he throws it as hard as he can at me. And he comes up and messes my hair up, and he starts being highly playful, beyond playful. And I said, Wally, that's enough of that, you know, can you take a break? He said, and he comes up and he does something else. He just he slaps me on the face or something. I say, Wally, you do one more thing like that, you're fired. And he comes up and he does it again. And I turn to him and I say, you are so frickin' fired. And then the person takes the helmet off, the hat off, and it's Tom Warner. So this is the kind of culture and tone and good humor we have been able to enjoy for many years. So I thank them not only for their faith in me and their confidence in me, but for their collaboration and for what they brought to the Fenway and Red Sox culture.
Well, there go all my questions about the professionalism and hard work. No, Joe, we'll bring you into this. I mean, you talk about the culture. Obviously, Larry was an important part of that culture change, and the Red Sox finally got that 86-year drought behind them.
Well, there's no question about it, Tom. And I was here 20 years before Larry came, and so I got to see how things changed. And I think the commitment was just all in, and we saw the results. And when I look back at Larry's career and see what he did as a basketball player at Princeton, getting a Final Four watch, with the Washington Redskins, a Super Bowl ring, building Oriole Park at Camden Yards, winning a World Series there, going to San Diego, winning a pennant with a team that had only won one in its history, and building Petco Park, and then coming to Fenway and rebuilding this ballpark, let alone winning 3 world championships in 10 years. I think you can make a case that Larry might have more impact than any baseball executive, at least since Branch Rickey.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Can we let him talk for a while?
The fact that he's
You may wanna
Italian
take
has
him on the
nothing
road
to do
with you.
with that.
Keep going. Well done.
You may want to take Joe on the road with you after this. But, let's talk about the ballparks, Larry, because obviously you leave a legacy not only here, but in Baltimore and in San Diego. I've always found it fascinating that in many ways, Yonke Way and Fenway were your inspiration for Utah Street and Camden Yards, and then you turned around and Utah Street was your inspiration to close down Yonke Way. Sort of talk about how that came full circle.
Sure, that's exactly right. But the real inspiration, the real beginning of the one really good, original, big idea that I've had in baseball, which was for a traditional, old-fashioned ballpark with modern amenities. If I've said that once, I said it 10,000 times as we tried to put Camden Yards on the map. But the real inspiration for that came from Pittsburgh. And it's kind of appropriate to go back to Pittsburgh because that's where so much of my life, my values, my career really began. And I would go to the Pirate games at Old Forest Field, which was a beautiful old traditional ballpark. It sat about 37,000 people, had a park beyond it in the outfield. And it was great. It was replaced by one of the concrete donuts that were so popular in the 1970s, and called Three Rivers Stadium. So when I finally had a chance to build a ballpark with the Orioles, I had that very much in mind, and Pittsburgh influenced me in that regard. I didn't want to see what happened to Forest Field happen to in Baltimore, and that was influential. In what we did, but I'm thinking back to Pittsburgh and my family. Many of them are here tonight. I want to thank my extended Pittsburgh family for being here. They, along with my wife Stacy and Davis and Blair, are all here. They've had a front row seat to the peculiar blend of intensity and passion and drive and neuroses that I bring to my jobs. And I want to thank them for all they have done. And what self-respecting Italian-American man would not thank his mother as well? So I want to add Rose Lucchino to that. My mother was in spring training. She listened and watched every Red Sox game. She was at spring training. We were meeting with the fabulous Pedro Martinez to discuss his contract in 02-03. And my mother just wanted to meet Pedro, and then she was going to leave for the room, but she was sitting at the table. Pedro walks in and he says, no mothers at the table. Mothers change everything. Mothers got to leave. You're bringing yours down. No, it's not fair.
04, 07, 13, are they like children? Is it impossible to pick a favorite? Is there a moment that stands out above all others?
Yeah, I think that 2004 will always have to be special. That was and for those of us, Pedro, David, Tech, Wake, many others, of course, who have our names associated with the 2004 season, John, Tom, so many of us in the front office, it's that has to be right at the top of the pyramid. But 2007 was pretty special too. After the tumult of 2006, so we won again. We had a saying at the Red Sox in between that was any group of schlemiels can win once. We had to win a second time, and then of course 2013 was really special, because it was Boston strong and the players in the city unified like nothing I've ever seen before, and that will always have a special place in my heart.
Just absolutely. Well, I want to ask you finally before we let you go. This guy's doing it right. I mean, he's got the farewell tour to end all farewell tours. Didn't you think about maybe one last go-around here? I mean, you caught us all by surprise midway through last season.
Listen, we talk about a lot of achievements and victories and championships and sellouts and all of that. But the idea, the combination actually of these two is Pedro, who called me about David Ortiz. He said he just got released yesterday from the Twins, and we should sign him and bring him to camp. And we had John, Tom, and I had so much respect for Pedro. We were willing to offer an invitation to David, and David has been just extraordinary ever since. We are really lucky, David, that you have played your career here for so many years and have done so much for this franchise. And it's a major point of pride that we were able to keep you here and happy and productive for all the years that you've been here. So thank you.
Tom, one thing I wanted to mention, in addition to all Larry's duties with the Red Sox and the Pawtucket Red Sox, we are thrilled that Larry has been named the first chairman of the Jimmy Fund since the retirement of Mike Andrews, the great second baseman. It's a very fitting choice.
Thank you. That's both an honor and a duty. I think those people, many of whom are, I'm sure, in this audience, who have been treated for cancer, know that there's a sense of obligation that comes along with it. I was given a 1 in 3 chance of survival. That was 1986. And so the extraordinary work done by Dana-Farber, in my case, over the course of my life. In fact, my favorite oncologist is over here tonight. Dr. Lee Nadler is here tonight. Thank you, Lee. Anyway, it's, if I can do anything to help the Jimmy Fund move forward and help the Red Sox and the Jimmy Fund bond grow stronger, it will be a pleasure and a duty fulfilled.
Larry, it's a pleasure to have you here tonight. Congratulations. Not just any old schlemiel. Larry Lucchino, a member of the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Well done.